The jackets and sweaters are back on at the playground as the temperatures take a nosedive.
And that's not all. Let's go live to the Virginia Beach oceanfront. You can see the winds battering the flags at 17th and Atlantic.
Now in some spots the showers are falling, but no matter where you are, the gray and gloomy skies are sticking around. Let's check it out with Jeff.
Yeah, well, in general, for the next few days, the gray skies are going to stick around, but we do have some breaks out there. You can see right now, this is a shot from up in Hampton, and you can actually see, this is high atop the Air and Space Center, you can see some shadows out there, believe it or not, and a few hints of blue skies out there. We've had a lot of sunshine just out of the viewing area, both north and west, and even southwest for that matter. That drier air is trying to filter in, a little bit of a tendency for that to happen this evening. The showers that were around, the areas of drizzle tending to shrink, get more and more, again, in terms of the coverage, we're seeing fewer and fewer of them. Gradually, though, as we go through the evening, we're going to watch everything offshore sort of fill back in. So right now, cloudy, 60 degrees, but we are seeing some breaks out there. So not a bad evening in many, many locations. Here's just another sky view where, again, the clouds have started to lift a little bit. Not a lot of rain. Despite how damp it was today, only 6/100ths of an inch. The high was 64 in the middle of the night. The low was 58, and that happened just an hour or two ago. So things all flipped around. The next 6 hours, minimal rain chances on the order of 20%. But we do think, especially later tonight, the clouds are going to tend to fill back in, the fog will move in, and we really have a fairly damp forecast for the next couple of days. We'll talk more about that coming up.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Right now, emergency managers are in a race against time to get millions of Americans hurricane ready.
This week, FEMA is backing dozens of drills to keep first responders sharp. And here's the reason why. We are just 25 days away from the start of the 2018 Atlantic hurricane season. Today, a full-scale exercise put local, state, and federal agencies to the test.
Their mission to evacuate victims of a retirement community struck by a simulated Cat 4. 13 News Now military reporter Mike Gooding was there.
Disaster has struck, in this case, a Category 4 hurricane. People need to be evacuated, but how do you know how to do that if you've never practiced it? That's what this exercise is all about. Under the fictitious scenario of vigilant guard, as this drill is being called, Hurricane Cora has devastated the area. Buildings are destroyed, airports flooded, and roads blocked. With patients in wheelchairs and on backboards awaiting an emergency helicopter airlift. An Army Reserve CH-47 Chinook out of Fort Eustis swooped into the Atlantic Shores retirement community in Virginia Beach to perform the emergency rescue.
In almost every exercise, the number one problem is communication, so we want to identify that we have made great communication or that we've had good communications with one another, both locally and regionally and at the state level, and also to validate that their emergency plan works. They developed plans, said this is what we'll do. We're just making sure that it will do what it's supposed to.
It'll absolutely pay dividends because we'll know how the communication works and what areas need to be focused on and improved upon.
It could be devastating.
Atlantic Shores resident Annie Alberry remembers the 1962 Ash Wednesday storm well. She got to play one of the victims today.
I think it's exciting because we're learning something to do that could save lives.
Preparedness events like this one will continue throughout the Mid-Atlantic through May 11th. Mike Gooding, 13 News Now.
All right, one tool you can use to stay ahead of the storm, the 13 News Now app. Get live radar, an hour-by-hour forecast, and much more. It's free for iPhone and Android users.
New details emerge after a shocking confrontation at a Newport News hotel.
Get your family and get out. I don't care. And one, you need my permission, and I do not give you permission.
Yeah. Monkey. I'm a monkey?
We first showed you this disturbing video last night on 13 News Now at 11. A hotel clerk hurling racist language during an argument with a guest. Now that clerk is off the job and talking to 13 News Now reporter Megan Perrier.
And Megan, he says there's a whole other side to his story.
He does. Regina, this entire story started Friday night, but Dwayne says the camera didn't catch everything that happened, and now he's saying he's sorry.
Oh, so you're racist. That's why you don't like me, because I'm black.
Oh, no, no.
That's all you had to say. That's all you had to say.
Record that.
That heated exchange was between former hotel clerk Dwayne and Irby Fogelman. Fogelman says it started when his mom came into town to surprise the family. She stayed at the Country Inn and Suites in Newport News.
We go into the room, we smell smoke. So that was kind of like alarming because she doesn't smoke.
So Fogelman went downstairs to talk to the front desk, and that's when he ran into Dwayne.
He pretty much called me stupid, called me lazy. I don't quite understand why he's sitting there calling me stupid and lazy when I'm doing everything I possibly can to help him.
Dwayne says Fogelman pulled out his phone and started filming.
Get your family and get out. I don't care. And one, you need my permission, and I do not give you permission.
Yeah. Monkey. I'm a monkey?
Dwayne says he regrets what he said.
I took it a step way too far, and I do apologize. Like, I mean, it's not a race thing, it's not a color thing, it's how he was acting. He was acting dumb and ignorant.
Now manager Linda Little is speaking out.
It was very devastating to us, and we're all kind of here in a healing process. We have terminated the employee, and we're trying to move forward, and we're also I'm going to do another sensitivity training for the whole hotel.
As for Dwayne, he says this happened on a bad day.
But events leading up to that day, I was stressed. I really hadn't taken meds in a while, and I was just poor judgment.
In Newport News, Megan Purrier, 13 News Now.
Right now, Congressman Scott Taylor faces a Republican challenger for the 2nd District seat.
Mary Jones calls herself a Trump candidate. 13 News Now reporter Jacqueline Lee asks Jones what the Trump branding means for her and voters.
In growing our economy, taking care of our veterans, and securing our borders, and to cut spending.
This is part of Mary Jones' platform for the 2nd Congressional District Republican primary. So is this.
President Trump needs more reliable allies in Congress.
Jones is aligning herself with President Trump and his campaign promises, like building a wall.
It is an issue that our representatives in Congress are not working with the president to get it done.
She's facing off against incumbent Scott Taylor, saying he should be unseated, in part because he attacks President Trump frequently, a claim Representative Taylor says is completely false.
I support the president, but if I have disagreements with him, that's what I say. That is part of our Constitution to have, separate but co-equal branches of government. So I just think it's a lie.
The primary election will take place June 12th and the general election on November 6th. In Williamsburg, Jacqueline Lee, 13 News Now.
Prosecutors say a teen convicted of shooting a Portsmouth police officer is faking mental issues. A judge sided with Will Patterson's attorney today. They argue the 16-year-old needs to undergo a mental evaluation. But prosecutors say they have recordings of Patterson talking on the phone from prison saying he was going to fake mental illness to delay a robbery and firearms case against him. Today's case was continued. Another case set to go forward next month will now likely be continued as well.
Right now, a wild warning out of Kittyhawk. Police say there is an alligator roaming around. Neighbors called 911 after spotting the gator swimming in a canal off Pineway Drive. The wildlife group posted this picture to Facebook after tagging the 10-foot gator and letting it go. Officers are warning people to keep an eye on kids and pets and to check swimming pools before jumping in.
So we've got couple of members of the grounds crew, and they're out trying to get these little ducklings up.
And a showstopper at Harbor Park. Some ducklings interrupted Saturday's Tides game. Don't worry, the grounds crew had it all under control. Watch as one duckling gets scooped up in a helmet, another earns a box seat, a third gets Harbor Park's exclusive hot towel service. All three were taken to safety.